Hey YouTube, just out here hanging out, watering plants, being followed by a puppy dog. It's a good day, a little windy, but it's Idaho, so what are you gonna do? See if the sound comes out all right on this, so I'll post it. I wanted to make a little bit more of an informal video here. You know, all the things I posted so far on the channel have just been clips from conversations. And I wanted to maybe give a little comment on what those clips are about, at least some of them, what the purpose is, what the hope is for the channel, and, you know, maybe just mix up the content a little bit. Well, relating to the videos coming up this week, you know, it's my buddy Steven and I talking, and we're talking about epistemology. Well, I don't know how trafficked a corner of YouTube that is to, you know, if you go and search epistemology, how many videos are going to come up, how many views do they get? You know, it's something I'm interested in. Obviously, that's why we're talking about it on our discussions. But I wanted to maybe give some background and give a case for why these videos might actually be significant, why they might actually be important. Well, epistemology is a word maybe people haven't heard of, but I think it is one of the core issues. Maybe not the core issue, but one of the core issues of our time. And I've become convinced of this over this summer as I've looked more into it, because it's something that has interested me, but I didn't know too much about the history of it. Well, we put it in different terms. The question of epistemology, one of the central questions, is about certainty. Certainty. That, I think, is a lot more telling. How much of our lives, our social, political lives, maybe not entire, maybe not especially, but noticeably there, how much of that revolves around arguments of certainty? What we're certain about, what other people are certain about, what we're certain that they shouldn't be certain about. How much of our social landscape is driven by certainty, by the quest for certainty? And, you know, I think, say epistemology, we don't get much traction. If you say, let's talk about the need, the want, the desire, the drive, the human attraction to certainty, to the belief in certainty, to the want to be certain, the hope for certainty, that I think is clearly relevant for most people. It's my belief. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not certain. But seriously, in this day and age, what is not connected almost to that idea, especially in our media landscape? It's so obvious. We're driven by this need, this intense desire for certainty. Why? Well, the obvious answer is we don't like being uncertain. It's super uncomfortable to be uncertain. And it's empowering to be certain, right? If you're certain that Trump is terrible, well, you just entered a club with a bunch of people who are also certain. And you get to be certain together, and you get to be certain about all the idiots who aren't in your club. And on the exact other hand, if you are certain that Trump is the savior. Maybe even not that extreme. If you're certain that Trump is just a victim of propaganda, well, you get to enter another club. And you get to feel certain with them and feel better about not being outside the club. Aren't these issues about certainty? I mean, if we're not certain of these things, if we're not absolutely sure, would we have the issues that we have? Would our clubs function the way they do? Would we relate to outsiders the way we do? Maybe in passing moments of deeper honesty, we would say, oh, of course, I'm not totally certain. Who can really know? But is that what drives our actions? Or is the belief, whether it's founded or not, is the belief that we are certain, that our certainty is justified, that we should act as if we're certain, is that what drives our actions? Now, politics is easy. Politics is obvious. But it's not just the modern politics, it's not just modern media. This has been something that has been a driving factor of our cultural development for the better part of a millennium. Maybe a little bit less, you could argue about it. But since Descartes, René Descartes, he raised this issue of what can we be certain about? And he probably didn't realize how much of a problem it was going to create. He thought he answered it, or at least he claimed to think that he answered it. Everyone who has read him has decided he clearly did not answer the issue. And it's created this problem. Because no one has really been able to answer, what can we be certain about? Actually certain. Certainly certain. Certain that we are certain. And if we can't be, people don't want to think about that. But if we can't be, then how do we act? How do we behave? How do we relate to others in the world without being certain about whatever it is? So I think this issue of epistemology, as I said, I think it's the core issue of our time. I mean, in the early 2000s, we've been obsessed with, before that too, obsessed with religious fundamentalism and the threats that poses. Well, a lot of us around my age associate that with Islam. People a little bit older associate it with fundamentalist Christians. And even older generations before had the same issue with really the height of fundamentalism in America in the late 1800s, early 1900s. So, and what is fundamentalism other than certainty? Certainty. I am certain that I understand this. I am certain that I know how to apply this. I am certain that I know the consequences, and I know it all well enough and apply it all well enough that I can therefore treat people in an extreme way, let's say. Whatever that might be. There might be different bounds of that in different situations, but in either case, the certainty drives the treatment of others and the reaction to others and how you deal with others. And more than that, the whole movement of science. Even though technically, if you're really good at the philosophy of science, you would know that science does not promise certainty. In reality, in practice, how much of the drive towards science, the promises of science, have been from people wanting certainty, who want the science to impart infallibility. Again, this is one of the issues of our time. I'm convinced of it. So that's why you're going to receive another set of videos on epistemology. Like, oh, this guy doesn't have a lot of followers, making videos about something that nobody obviously cares about. Obviously a losing strategy. Well, the titles might not be as snappy. Never going to be a full-on clickbait guy, I can tell you that. But the substance, the value, I think it's central. I think it's essential. I wouldn't be making the videos if I didn't think that this was something to dwell on, something to focus on. So I hope that serves as an introduction to some of the material and why it's presented in the way it is and why it's focused on. Maybe that opens you up and incentivizes you to watch a couple videos that maybe didn't sound as interesting before. Maybe it helps you think about the discussion in a new way and realize, oh, that's why we're talking about this. That's what this is driving at. This is how it helps. This is how it applies. And on that note, I appreciate those of you who are following the channel and who are watching. And I'm glad for that. And I hope you're getting value out of it. I hope that's why you're following, is that you have seen some value, or at least have a reasonable expectation of seeing some value here. And if you're seeing that value, if you're seeing what these discussions are pointing at, if they're interesting at least, but they're touching on issues, you think, oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh yeah, that is relevant. Well, that is a core part of things we're facing. Then please, this is the standard line, but likes, comments, and shares are the promised land. They're the promised road. Entry into the algorithm, entry into the stream, a bigger stream. It is support. That is what support is on YouTube. So if you're seeing that value, if you've watched videos here and you say, that was interesting, or this part was interesting, but that part wasn't, or you didn't totally sell me here, but I see, I watched it, and any of those comments, and you say, hey, talk more about this, or I wasn't totally sold on that, let me know. It's helpful, interesting to me. I'll read the comments, especially now with a smaller channel, but it helps the algorithm. And likes, also, if you liked the video, like the video. And if you know someone who spends time talking to themselves, spinning in their heads about all sorts of crazy things, maybe send them a video. If you have one here, oh, I talked to my friend about this one time, give it a share. A lot of times it helps to share an individual video directly to an individual and say, I think you'd enjoy that. I'd appreciate that. I also appreciate the general shares, just open shares on Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. I don't know how Instagram works, if you can share videos on that. Anyhow, it's part of my pitch. Thank you for watching. I hope you're getting value out of the content. I hope you can see the value and the promise to come. I hope you'll watch videos as they come out. And if you haven't seen any of the videos, hey, poke around on the channel and check out the titles, see if anything grabs your interest. Maybe the epistemology ones will stand out a little bit more now. Well, thanks for watching. I think try some more of these videos as new sections come out. Make them a little bit briefer, but a little bit of an introduction and a little bit more personal side to the channel. Thanks for watching, listening. God bless. Have a good season. And talk to you again.